My name is ABryan, and this is my capstone presentation for Fitbit. The data collected from a Fitbit from a patient can be used for medical professionals to gain easier access to their data, as well as patients being able to get lower premiums as insurance when they partner up with their companies that automatically give them Fitbits for tracking purposes. Just a brief overview of Fitbit itself. They produce tracking devices that are able to track your health, like steps and heart rate. This is for personal tracking as well as enterprise health tracking, which is when companies partner up with Fitbit to provide their employees with devices in order to track them for health reasons for their job. The smartwatch industry brings in about $17.8 million dollars. Some of the most competitive companies are the Xiaomi company, Samsung, and Apple. Their competition as of right now, Fitbit is somewhere between third and fourth place. It is fluctuating. They do have growth projections for the industry to reach $62.1 million dollars by 20. As far as any political, economical, or social issues that may arise. Now, as far as the data that could be collected, it would only provide better insurance coverages and premiums and weed out the people that don't need to pay as much, as well as improved ideas and attitudes about tracking health. On the political end, as long as the military doesn't try to take over the software as their own, we should be okay. Out of the technological, environmental, and legal issues that could arise, the biggest thing is making sure that everything is HIPAA approved and the patient data is being secured in a way that if it was to be hacked, lost, or opened in any kind of way, that this person's personal life would not be at jeopardy or any kind of ramifications that would come about from finding out. Fitbit stands out with its strength to access the data that's actually being tracked on their dashboard, as well as being a very well known brand. As far as their weaknesses, their software do need improvements, and their data does need to be a little more secured in order for them to move into this realm of transferring data from their devices to medical professionals. Other than dealing with the threat of other competitors like Apple being one of the greatest competitors right now and housing the data that everybody would want to hack to have for their own personal information, there are some opportunities for Fitbit to go ahead and cater to the new customers that they could bring in, as well as focus on the contracts on the enterprise side that could bring in more money. The goal of the solution plan is to go ahead and improve and focus on the enterprise health center of the company, which is the Fitbits that are given by companies, as well as improving the devices for the chronically ill tracking, for example, like diabetes or high blood pressure. And all of this together will increase their revenues and increase their share value so that in the market they can actually compete at a higher level. Some of the strategies for going about doing these things are providing better devices and software, improving contracts, having better price points for these better devices, making it more convenient and accurate for these patients to get their data to their doctors. Also, increasing these contracts will mean increased contact with insurance. Some of the tactics that can be used to engage those strategies would be using the smaller acquired companies as in house labor to go ahead and develop these new technologies and softwares. This would be able to be used for the tracking of the chronic illnesses and the new illnesses. No outside people would be able to be privy to any of the thing we're created, so we can actually lock in the patent. We can have contracts that are longer than that patent period time. This way, we'd at least have a corner on some kind of definite revenue. Yahoo Finance does show that for the past 2 years, they have been on a steady decline on research and development funds budget, going from 343,000 to 303,000. But we are projecting for a $500,000 budget for next. The gathering of the data that we'll need for the devices will be coming from social media, customer sentiments, anywhere that we can get any kind of idea of what the customer wants next, as well as from the devices directly from the client's information. The data that's gathered can be used and analyzed by doctors for better prognosis, or even for a patient to know exactly how much more steps they should take, how much more walking they should do to meet their goals if they have a certain goal to maybe keep weight down or keep cholesterol down. There are many factors that come into play. Or even just to know when to go to emergency room versus making a doctor appointment. This gives you better insurance premiums, better co-pays. It all around helps everybody. The data is used by the people actually wearing the tracker. If we want to be able to open it up to be used by doctors, any kind of medical staff or medical professionals, employers will have certain data as far as if you're smoking or not smoking, it'll be stipulated in your hiring paperwork. As far as insurance companies, they will have access to know, okay, this person is not going to the doctor as much, we don't need to charge them as much, or vice versa. It would also be guaranteed that the data would be protected in the storage. The current budget for research and development is about $500,000. Estimated cost for implementing everything, including salaries and possible overtime, is about $390,000. So, one of the major benefits is it's under budget. Just looking at this year, it looks as though there have been a negative return on investment on the historical data shown. Going forward, there's only possible way for it to increase. So any kind of increase versus anything negative in percentages, where we're almost at negative 100% for the first quarter, anything is better than that. Some of the success criteria that could be measured is if market share has grown, if they've gotten ahead of the competition, if any of the things as far as profit or revenues have actually increased versus decreasing. In conclusion, currently Fitbit is below the industry average in share cost. Improvement will take some time. Improvement is almost guaranteed though once you focus on the improvements we're making and the new innovations that we'll be releasing. It can completely change the way patient doctor experiences happen as far as emergencies or even just tracking them from afar.